So, yesterday when I saw this article, I actually thought this might have been a bigger deal than I think it is right now. And maybe it's kind of premature to go out there and think about one thing and one situation and have a drastic opinion change about it within the span of 24 hours, but bear with me here. Today we're talking about the Canadiens' goaltending, and today we're talking about how one of their guys is already set to leaving the team. However, it's not a guy that you are probably expecting. We are not talking about the Cayden Primos or the Sammy Montembeaus. Today we're heading over to the Laval Rocket and talking about the guy that we labeled as a potential steal. A guy whom we had made videos about, asking whether or not he was a miracle signing by Kent Hughes. Today we are talking about Connor Hughes. Because 2 months ago, when we made this video talking about Connor Hughes and whether or not he was a miracle signing, we had spoken about how Habs goaltending was really inconsistent and how there was sort of a Cayden Primo, let's just say, backtracking going on, because a lot of people thought that Primo would be able to take the next step and start to progress forward and become a serviceable NHL backup that was worthy of maybe 30 to 40 games, but no, he wasn't that at all. And so, when the Montreal Canadiens were going through these goaltending woes, there was an idea popping around saying, hey, look in Laval. There's a guy named Kent Hughes, Connor Hughes. There's a guy named Hughes who is doing very good work. And even right now, if you take a look at Connor Hughes, one of the recent free agent signings that the Montreal Canadiens made, he's 28 years old, 6'4", 225, left-handed catching goaltender signed on to a one-year deal, and this season his save percentage has actually taken a little bit of a dip. He's at a .904 save percentage right now in 16 games played with a .251 goals against average. And that number is actually a bit worse. Actually, it's magnitudes worse compared to what we had seen earlier 2 months ago when we made our initial video talking about Connor Hughes. You see, Connor Hughes, to start out the year and the time span in which we talked about him last time, saw himself put up multiple 900-plus save percentage games, multiple 960-plus save percentage games. He had multiple shutouts in there as well, but if you go over to his recent games from 2 months ago to now, you'll see some 840s sprinkled in there, some 750s, a 727. Sure, there are a few other shutouts in here too, but Connor Hughes does not have the same track record of success within the past 2 months since we had made that last video, compared to what his record was at 2 months ago when we talked about him last time. Lo and behold, his numbers have kind of taken a step back. And that's okay, right? I mean, it's his first pro season in North America ever, because he was playing in other leagues and he was in Switzerland for most of his pro career. So for Connor Hughes, this definitely is a learning experience. But now, with the Montreal Canadiens goaltending situation being where it is, you've got Sammy Montembeaus, he is still as good as ever, and then you have Jakub Dobes. You have a guy who has definitely come out here and taken over and become a serviceable backup. The guy that we thought Cayden Primo was going to be. Jakub Dobes, in his NHL career so far, at the ripe old age of 23 years old, he has defeated the Florida Panthers, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Washington Capitals with flying colors. These are three of the recent Stanley Cup champions, and Dobes, as a rookie, has come in here and beat them all. I'm not saying that Jakub Dobes is the next coming of Igor Shesterkin or of Carey Price, but he's looking fantastic in this small sample size, and as a result, all the Canadiens' goaltending issues, at the moment, they seem to be solved. And so with that in mind, let's go over on an article published on donlescoulisses.com that goes over that aforementioned Connor Hughes and what we can expect to see out of him. Turns out, he's probably going to return to Switzerland. Let's talk about the Habs and the Rocket goaltending situation. Right now, the Canadiens are counting on Montembeault and Dobes. The latter took the place of Cayden Primo, who now forms the pair with Connor Hughes on the Laval side. These are the 4 main goalies in the organization right now. Luke Cavalin, 3 games in Laval, is also there from time to time, but he's not necessarily a regular. That's for this year. But what about next year? According to what has been reported in 24 hours in Switzerland, it's not impossible to think that the goaltender Connor Hughes, whose contract expires in a few months, could return to play in Switzerland as early as next season. Goalie Connor Hughes, currently with the Habs in the NHL, is expected to return to Switzerland next season, as written about by 24 Hours in Switzerland. In the Swiss media Watson, the term stuck is used to talk about Hughes' situation in Laval, as well as the Canadiens' organizational depth chart, and it said that John Faust, the GM of Lausanne HC, which is the former team that Connor Hughes played for, is working hard to bring him back next year. There are still some good clues on this subject for Connor Hughes, who had spent many years in Switzerland, and another good element in this text from Swiss Habs, his agent has been offering him to Swiss clubs, including that of Lausanne, for 2025-2026. And so with this in mind, it's not really all too surprising when you consider the progression, you consider what else has been going on in the Canadiens' goaltending depth chart. Guys are coming in, guys are looking good, guys are suiting up for the Montreal Canadiens, and guys are getting wins. But for Connor Hughes, he has been going a little bit down there as of late. His numbers have not been as good as they were when we initially talked about him, and now if he feels like he is stuck, if his agent feels like there isn't really much progression to be had anymore for Connor Hughes at the National Hockey League level, then I guess he's got a choice to go back to Switzerland and go to a territory that he's familiar with where he knows he can be a number 1 guy and just play out the rest of his days over there. Of course, it's kind of disappointing to me that we weren't able to see Connor Hughes play for Kent Hughes' main NHL team, but hey, the alternative is fine. Jakub Dobes doing his thing and looking really good in the process. I like the sound of that a lot, baby. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Connor Hughes situation? You've got Swiss media reporting that he is likely to return back to Switzerland next season, and that his name is already being tossed out there by his agent to different Swiss Hockey League clubs. It seems like there's a very imminent return to Swiss hockey that is happening here, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If any Lausanne HC fans or anything are watching this video, then hey, you can let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about this guy coming back? I'm proud of him to take this leap of faith at 27, 28 years old, try to get himself an NHL job. He looked like he was a candidate to doing that, especially considering the opportunity, but Jakub Dobes, younger guy, better guy, just a player who has been so dominant so far, and I think a lot of Canadiens fans have been taken aback in a very positive way by Dobes. So thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.